Welcome to another moment with Common Hood in Sunnyside, Gainesville, Florida. I'm your host, Simon P., coming at you live today. I brought a very interesting person that's going to give us a very interesting perspective. And if I say the name wrong, she's going to correct me today. This is my sweetheart, my princess, but she's a queen today. Onunaku, introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Onunaku, which is the name of my vein of the ancestors that I walk with. Oribumi, which is the Yoruba name of the root of Ifa that I have been given. Erica was the name my mother gave me. Osceola, the name my grandmother gave me. And 9 is the numerology that embodies my energy as I walk through this earth. So thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
It's good to be here.
You know, when you say it, the vein,
Yes.
it's a lot of thoughts just came through my mind.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Like the vein connection, the connection, the
Yes.
veins are within us. They're connected all over.
Yes,
And
the
you
blood
said the
that
vein
runs
to
through
the
us.
ancestors,
Yeah.
the veins that you're keeping that vein flowing.
Yes. They would actually call it for this time because it's part of our sovereignty. You know, the blood that runs through our veins. You know, there's power in the blood that runs through our veins. So it's very important. Yeah, so very important to connect that vein to the root because sometimes they're different, but it's still all encapsulating. You know what I mean? There's no separation. So embodying and knowing the fullness of each one just empowers you that much more. So I recognize both.
Well, we kind of met, have a little nice group going on, and it's funny that my father, I'm a junior,
Okay.
so Simon P. Harris Jr. As I might have shared earlier, that I visited the motherland and got the name Obafemi Kwabena. I may have said that wrong, and we at that time when I met you guys, we all were coming back to Gainesville for a purpose. And can you just elaborate on your purpose on why you came back? I came back to be with my mom and my dad in their final stage of their lives, and to make sure I can just enjoy and encapsulate that as much as possible. And also just to be around family more. But at the same time, I was led to you, and I've been to a couple of the community fires, and there's power there. There's power. Explain the purpose of that community fire that you do.
Okay. Can I lead into it? Lead into it. So what brought me here was family as well. I feel like what everybody is with the planet, the universe, is doing right now is bringing families back together. I feel like the ancestors are bringing families back together because that's what ancestors do.
That's what they do.
That's what they did. They've always done that. And so, coming to Gainesville was not necessarily in my plans, but I knew that I had, my purpose here. I raised 5 children. I've had the marriage. I did that part in the beginning. And I wanted to do that. So in creating my own story, because this is my life, that was part of the story. And so when that chapter was closing and the children became old enough to find their own path, I started to inquire, where am I going? Because I knew I was heading somewhere. And it ultimately led me to Gainesville. And it's the same thing, to find family, soul family, and then ultimately bring my family here because it's such a holistic, beautiful place. And I also wanted to say, when you were speaking of why you returned, I just could hear, he's a good son. A good son, and that's what a good son would do. And so being here now, I
love my mama.
I know, and listen.
And love my daddy.
Hey, and you should, because, when people are out to their families and their parents, I say, well, I got to say, I like your mom and your dad because I love you. So they got to be on point somewhere, so. But ultimately, I came here and I had things that I had already originated. Sky Above, Date Night and Dine, Sky Above Amphitheater Music. I literally created a whole sustainable village with pieces, community marketplace, schools, HL22, higher learning, birthing houses I see in the vision, and the community fires. I'd always been holding those. Each piece, and then the body adornments, making indigenous technologies for people to adorn themselves for whatever purposes, just to kind of resurrect the sovereignty and royalty of us.
You dripped me last time.
I did. That's how I met you.
I met you at the Arts Festival.
Yes.
The Fifth Avenue Arts Festival. That was last year. That's coming up next week.
With Nkwanda Jah, yes.
That's coming up again
It
next
is
week.
on May 5th, I believe, on the 44th now annual. Yeah.
Now, when you explained that the jury you made,
yes,
you say what was the purpose behind the jury again?
The purpose was about sovereignty. It was an ancestral call to induct me into sitting with the beads and creating like so many ancestors did. And that was just connecting me to more indigenous ways, because there is no culture or tradition that does not bead, just like they drum. You know what I mean? Like every culture has a drum. So it was introducing me and preceding my walk with the African traditions as an Egungun priestess, which is one who carries the ancestors. So we hear from all the like there's no ancestor that
when
we
you say Egungun,
Egungun.
Okay.
Yes, Egungun.
Break that down, because that's not a term that we often hear.
It means there's Egun, which represents ancestor, and then there's Egungun, which represents the whole of an ancestor, of the realms of ancestors. Anyone who's transitioned and crossed over.
So is this was leaving? I heard you mention your biological name that mom gave you.
Yeah.
Was Erica.
Yes, which means all powerful, eternal ruler. So we were getting there. No, I'm just kidding.
So that was,
I'm so kidding.
Yeah, that was a transition from Erica to who we are today.
Yeah, because that name Onunaku came in a ceremony of a family ceremony. We were actually doing a plant medicine ceremony with my family, my mother, my stepfather, like everybody. And that was like to get my sister and then some very close friends, to get them there was amazing. And this brother who was like a brother from another lifetime, he was like, him and his wife were sitting and saying, she's like bringing people to the light, like a Harriet Tubman. And they were like, she needs a name, but we can't call her Harriet, because Harriet's Harriet. And every time I walked past him at one point in the ceremony, he would stand at attention and he was saying Onunaku, but I couldn't hear him. And every time, so I just was like, okay, he's in his journey.
Onunaku.
Yeah, he was in his journey. So then his wife came and sat with me and my mother, and she shared how they were having that discussion in the ceremony. And then this one sister I said, Onunaku. And then he came over and we all were like, and this one sister said, that sounds like Anunnaki. And the sky lit up, literally, like, and we were like, whoa.
And I'm relating to your naming ceremony, and you mentioned the different things you were doing with your sky brand.
Mm-hmm. Sky above.
So the sky above.
How about that? Right.
Correlates there.
It really does, because Anu are the sky gods, the sky beings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, it all is very divinely connected. And, and rightfully so, that's how the ancestors do things. They're about completion. We don't do pieces and parts and fragments and things like that. We
do it whole.
Everything comes full circle. So I came to Gainesville and I knew what I had to offer and what I was going to bring. But I didn't realize that where I was stepping into, because I'm not a real big ancestral root worker, which is researcher, but I find what I need to know. So I hadn't really known that porters, the history of porters, but I found out, but I felt called by the ancestors of the land here. Mm-hmm. And not so much just the ones that walked, as recent, but like layers of the ancestors of the land,
that ancestors go deep.
It does. It goes back to the Meso-Mayan periods. It goes beyond that. It goes to when it was just the nature spirits, when it was just nature and there were no human beings here because humans weren't a part of the experiment yet. So hence why there's such a reverence for nature, because the intelligence that nature holds is so rich. The magic that it holds is so rich, and the mystery. And I find that in this specific area, it's so potent because so many people are in love with nature here. The natural world. Yeah, food growing.
Very much so.
Yeah, they're outdoorsy. They're preservationists.
Gainesville has been known to protect their trees.
You know what I'm saying?
They've been known to protect their trees.
They got good sense because their trees will protect them. So, it was a beautiful marriage. And so same like you, brother, I just feel like we're all coming home. And so what Salvajira Village is about is home. So that's what I was literally doing in that house, is I was creating it as home, because the mother in me is part of a very strong energy that I carry. And so I was creating home. And as that was trickling out, it was becoming more of a heart space, recognizing that Porter's is the heart of Gainesville. Porter's community is a sovereign city within the city, and that has to be recognized. But first, it has to be recognized.
You guys are working very good over there community-wise. That's a beautiful garden that Otis has going on.
Yes.
Eranisha is that name, correct?
Eranisha Hamilton, Otis Garrison. Yes. They're
and
really,
community fire, just a good open discussion. You don't get that too often where you can, and those that Jami created those cards.
Yes.
They kind of had
Spirit
the meaning
walk,
of the numbers.
vision cards. Yes.
Now, going back before we get on some things about the nature, when you were Erica, what was the practice like being Erica?
Erica was in the practice, but not consciously in the practice. Erica was a wife, a mother, and an encourager. She was still community. She was still about her rituals and ceremony and bringing people in. We used food to show love. We fed everybody.
Family reunion.
You know what I mean? And everybody was always welcome. Like we always had children around. We always had elders around. And what was important to me at the time was to create a solid family unit, and the one that I knew was possible, that I might not have been able to experience as a child because I didn't have say-so when my parents split. But so that was who Erica was. She was also the baby child of the family. Out of two sisters, there were three of us. Yeah,
I'm the oldest of my mom.
Are you the oldest? Okay, so
I'm the oldest.
Right. So you think you're somebody's daddy? No. But being the baby child, being one that was very well cared for, but yet had a lot of independence. Child of imagination, very imaginative. I wrote. I loved hip hop. I loved liberty. I loved freedom. I loved anything that just appealed to me. I was definitely my own person. And so, Eric is still very much.
Yes, I love my hip hop too still.
Listen.
Even though I'm an old school hip hop.
No, that's it. That's hip hop.
Yeah, that's hip hop.
That's hip hop.
I don't know what they trying to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
but they doing
now.
it.
But they doing what they know.
Right,
They
doing
doing what
guidance.
they know.
Yes.
Get in the archives. That's all I can tell them.
And you know what?
Archives.
And they are the ones that know. Yeah.
With the issue of community and unity, how they kind of parallel together.
Village. I feel like village is the equal sign in between the two polarities of community and what was the other thing you said?
I said the community and the unity.
Yes, I think that
how
village is.
Correlate together.
I think village is the bridge to that. I really do, because in village it was so tight knit. When you marry in the village, she didn't just marry you married her entire family and everything. And so there was never anything that you didn't go through that the elders would not, children were everybody's children. Everybody shared. The men went out together and did what they did.
My mother say that often.
What did she say?
That when you marry into a family.
Yes.
That you're supposed to know their family.
You should.
And they're supposed to be knowing you guys' family.
Did we listen?
But she said it's not like that no more.
It is and it isn't. We meet to a certain point. We meet the mother, the father, maybe the siblings, maybe an aunt or two during the holiday. But then we go back to our homes, and whatever we're struggling with, whatever our conflicts are, whatever our disconnects are within the relationship, if we don't know how to communicate, it stays right there. You know what I mean? Or you go to your confidants, and what do they know? They're winging it. You know what I mean? What village did they come from? What tribe are they from? So, and not that we need to know all that, because that's a little a lot. But
there's a distinguishment.
There is a distinction.
Community and the village atmosphere.
It is, because at what point does everybody gather together in the community and say, okay, this is what's going on? The fires are so important, and the fire really taught me that, because, it called me to really sit with it and listen, and I got to see the dynamics of what the fire is and what it can be. Like, to me, it's a being. It's not just a fire. It's literally this being that takes on all these different intelligences and brings such presence and such, warmth that you feel comfortable enough to relax and take
that's how you felt. Yeah. So when I was there,
okay,
I felt the purging, because you were saying, bring these little sticks and just something bothering you, just throw it in the fire. But there were other people with different perspectives too that was able to open up and share. And I was wondering, like, okay, everybody kind of depositing something in each other. Absolutely. Around this circle. Yeah. And you felt the togetherness at that point in time. And now that village moment, of course, the way it is now, is that more ancestral on how it used to be back in the day, being that we are descendants from Africa?
Well, I believe that we're continuing to learn and grow and feel into it more, because everybody wants village, but we're still healing ourselves. We're still reconciling ourselves, and we're still discovering ourselves. You know what I mean?
That's constant.
Yeah. And we all have a sensing of what's natural to us. So I feel like what we are doing by holding the fire space, and it's not just, to gather the village. It's like, it's on a personal level. If somebody needs that space, we will make it happen. We'll create it. Absolutely. And there's so many other indigenous technologies.
They call that bringing it to the altar, though.
It really is, because that's what the fire. When we're
bringing it to the altar.
When I'm building that fire, I'm listening. Like, those designs are never mine own. They're telling me, I'm getting very clear instruction on how to lay this wood, because whatever that structure is going to bring in exactly what's needed. The Spirit Most High knows who's coming, who's not. I don't. Mm-hmm. But all I need to do is just listen, be obedient, and do what I'm called to do. And I've seen the dynamics of different fire energies and felt when they're lit according to how they're built. And I'm just like, wow, I'm in awe every time. And so back to the question of, I think what the beauty is everybody wants village. We all have village inside of us. It's in our bone. Mm-hmm. It's in our memory. And the thing is like, what does it really look like, though? And we've been taught to be so invulnerable, where we're not trusting, where we don't have a level of vulnerability, where we feel like we have to hold on to things, where we have to do things on our own and work it on our own. And that's the first part of village. And then it's also making sure that it stays in a safe way, and that it stays in the balance. And so those fires are still burning even when everybody goes home, and the fire is not burning, because when they leave, what we see, we're responsible to pray for. What the ancestors might not be able to say to you because you're not listening, they may say to, myself, or, and then I relay, or I'll sit with it, and, I'll send a text, or I'll say, hey, let's, you know what I mean? So it never really stops burning. Case in point, one of the pieces of wood was burning from within.
I saw that wood.
And so, I go sit with the fire.
Sit there pretty, yeah.
Yeah, and the fire, because it burned until it rained Sunday. Like, this was deep. Like, it went from Saturday night after Jami's, and you've seen it because it's the same wood, yes. But it kept burning all through the night until the rain finally came. And I sat with the fire, and I said, and I could hear, like, the fires are now burning within the people. And so I took that and made that a prayer. And in that moment, it's just always being willing to listen and see how we can hold the efforts that people are making, just to be present.
Well, you said listening, but I say explore as well.
Okay.
Because when I said the altar, traditionally we live, quote unquote, in a Christian society. And most of us feel like that's considered bringing your cares to the altar.
Absolutely.
In that open, church environment. Absolutely. And, the fire with me, since I've been able to attend a couple of times, I just go back and wonder, like, wow, is this how it was before the altar? Like, the togetherness that we had that was there? Like, is this how it was? It's just a thought.
No, remember, as you're speaking, I can remember the church doing altar call.
Yes.
And how intimidating sometimes it was to get up and walk because you didn't want...
You didn't want everybody to know you're doing
you need prayer, like out of backslid or whatever.
What I did. Yeah.
No, seriously. And all that wrestling was like, dang, what is it really about? And how many people probably didn't walk to the altar because they didn't want to feel judgment, or they didn't want to, You know what I mean? But they needed that. So you're so right on, you know, and then I also equate it to Holy Spirit fire. You know what I mean? It's like, this is everything. And
Correct.
you don't have to get up. You ain't got to state your name. You don't have to do anything. All you do is just show up. You know what I mean? And just
And be you.
and relax. Yeah, because
Be you.
the fire is going to do what it do.
Every time it spark and you see it go in the air.
What's your interpretation of that? What do you feel?
You know, you said something a while back about a celestial being.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see it go spark in the air, then it disappear, I just be wondering, like, where did it go?
No, you know.
Like, where did that spark go?
And what was that spark?
Who assigned
Who
that?
was
Who
that
got
spark?
Who was that
How
spark?
about that?
There you go.
How about that?
Yeah, that's it.
And
That's what I kept watching them.
And for you, it is exploration.
For me, it is.
And I love that, because how about you were probably very much that as a child, very curious, very inquisitive, very, you know what I mean?
I do ask a lot of questions. People to feel like, hey, you know, I've been turned off from learning sometimes. If I can't ask questions, I'll be like, you know what? Have it then. But if somebody let me ask a question, they'll say, man, you ask a whole lot of questions just to know how to pick up a hammer.
I love it. I love it.
Like, yeah, I had to ask some questions.
It's the question that drives us, Neo. That's my favorite line in The Matrix. You know what I mean? And that's the realist.
My brother Derek Harris, that's his favorite movie.
Is he still with us?
He's still with us.
I got to meet you. We got to.
You're gonna love Derek.
We have to do a Matrix weekend. I'm with it.
You know, Derek kind of brought me to your energy a little bit.
Okay.
He made me aware of the energy that's out there.
So that'll be the next show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Knock with Derek.
Yeah, he made me aware of it, and I was listening. I wasn't applying. I was just listening. I'm like, it's deep.
How long ago was this?
I know it's been over a couple of years. I'm not the one to track it.
No, but okay, it's been a minute.
But you know, I was you know, my mom and dad brought us up, introduced us to, you know, the traditional way of religion, Bible, whatever the case may be, and he gravitated to something a little different. Not that I disagreed with it, but I felt the passion, and you know, I liked the exploration that it did for him. And so whenever I'm able to connect with someone in that same energy field, I feel it. I'd be like, this is what my brother Derek was talking about right here.
So we give thanks
Yeah.
to Derek. Yeah. And then him taking that leap that probably scared most people, but he was like, you know what? I got to follow this.
That's his personality, though. That is his personality, though. He's gonna see you. Like, if you tell him, like, why you want to tell me I can't go over there? So he's not the type. He's that type to explore. So he explored it, and I connected with it. And you know, you mentioned now, since we on fire, that's one element. You mentioned nature. Mm-hmm. Take us to that. The best way you can.
Well, I believe that we all, you know, the elements preceded all of us, and that we are because they are. And I don't see how any of it can work without the recognition of the relationship of the elements, because it's also an aspect in the relationship with ourselves. And the whole journey is to really know thyself, to that own self be true, to the point where you recognize that there is no self. You know what I mean? It's just this one. We're spirit. We are spirit. We are so spirit. And in order to really feel the fullness of that, we have to align all the aspects of all the bodies that we carry: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, ethereal. All of these bodies, we can't, you know, like some people are so spiritually minded that their health is failing. Well, how's that working for you? Because how can your spirit really function if your body's not? Because I'm going to tell you, I've been there, done that. And it's a challenge because my physical body is getting more of my attention because it's hurting, it's this, it's that. And I'm trying to align my spirit. So I'm trying, you know.
That is nature, though. When you think about nature, it's always constantly pulling up and pulling down, destroying,
do what it has to do to balance itself. It's all about balancing itself.
Yes, it keeps doing that.
Absolutely. And if it's too off balance, it'll take it out. They'll wipe the earth and wipe itself out. I
don't know how you live in Florida, how long you been in Florida, but you know, Florida, my home state. Let's just say that I've been able to live away from it for maybe 4 or 5 years when I was a little younger. But Florida is my state, right? And they call it the hurricane state.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes I be like, oh man, this. But every time it rains, to me, I observe the nature,
Yeah.
and I know there's some type of significance behind the rain. I'm like, hey, God got to purge it sometimes. He got to calm it down sometimes. He got to make us go in the house sometimes.
The rain is the water spirits. We believe that the spirits of the water speak. And it speaks a lot of things. Sometimes it seals.
You say seals.
Seals. It seals what's happening. It can be a cleanser. It can be an insulator for other energies that are trying to come through. You know what I mean? Because it causes everybody to kind of maybe stay still, stay in. And it's a lot of things. And I'm learning that more here because this is a lot of fresh water. And but it's funny you say that because one of the Orisha that is the head Orisha is Oya. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm not saying that right. And I can just hear the Alagba correcting me. It's like yeah. But, and she is the mother of transformation. She's the mother of the ancestors, but she's winds. And how about I was living up north. I was born in Queens. We moved to Pennsylvania. We moved to outside of D.C. Maryland, I moved here right after Andrew. I mean, 1992, as soon as they cleaned everything up and opened.
Andrew raised, he raised a little bit of hell.
I came in after Andrew.
Yeah, he raised a little bit of hell, Andrew.
He did. And so I came in right after that hurricane.
But it's the best part of Florida, though, by the time you have the Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
So, and you have to go about 150 miles. He normally calms down when he then you have the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. He need to travel about 100 miles, and he kind of calmed down when he hit Gainesville.
I didn't get to know him. Yeah, I didn't get to meet him.
So hopefully you don't get to meet him. They rename him every year.
They do. You know how they say that the hurricanes start off the coast of Africa as our ancestors. Yeah, because our ancestors were paying back. It was like the magic of their retribution. Because it always tears up the South somehow. It always hits it always hits that coast of the Southeast. You know what I mean? Whether it's so it's like that's what they say.
Well, the South. I think I haven't verified it, but it was said through some radio show I was listening to that 50% of the black population still resides in the South.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
It is.
So it's probably be changing with the new acquisitions of things out there.
Yeah. There's so much happening.
And it's acquisitions of things happening.
Yeah, and the exciting thing is we'll get to see it in our lifetime. I really feel that. We'll get to see major shifts happen.
Yes.
Because there's so many on this ride right now that are about it. There's uprisings happening all over there.
In a positive way.
Absolutely. And people are claiming their sovereignty back, and truth is revealing itself in like a massive way, and it's the truth that is going to tear everything down that wasn't meant to be, stable or stabilized. How they reinforce themselves through people's fear, through people's health, through people's mortality. All those lies now are like, it's just so fragile. And so all we got to do is come in unapologetically with these truths, and it's going it's going to bring order. That's all I can say.
Truth always win at the end.
And I guess we are our ancestors at the end. They're like, if you're willing to speak it, we're going to give it to you. So, it's once again listening, keeping your heart open, being obedient to what you're here to do, what you're called to do, and stay in your lane. Like, don't try to do everything else. Just find your lane and be excellent in that. Like, execute accordingly. And even though as we're evolving and deepening and opening, that charge will become more expanded, and it'll feel dense until we fully allow our spiritual essences
to flow,
to move forward, and let that self stop dictating.
Yeah, in that journey, was there any like pushback?
No, because we did our rituals. We made sure all the obstacles were removed, and that's what African traditions is everything. Because we inquire of Ifa, we do the readings, we do it. We don't just move on our own like we always have. Right. You know what I mean? And then we encounter this and we encounter that, or we partner up with people who got this going on. We don't know what's going on in their lineage or their generations, but now we got all these obstacles. And so, no, we did all that. Luckily, my ancestors were giving me breadcrumbs to say, we know, we see where you're going. We know what we have in store for you. And here's how you're going to execute this. And it came through mentors.
I like how we're using those two letters, W-E, as in we.
Yeah.
Because, earlier you paralyzed like individual, somewhat how society is, how we kind of have to deal with our wounds.
Yeah.
Like, you got to handle your own mess, bro.
Yeah.
Pull it up. You're the
How
pull
you
up
doing?
your brass.
Fine,
Yeah. Pull up everything by your bootstraps, as they would say. From school, how like in school we, everything is a test. You have to take a test to go to the next level, or to get to the associate degree.
Is life different? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding,
but so true statement.
But the test is custom designed for you, so you cannot fail.
Right.
You will not fail. You know what I mean? We just want to see, you know where you're at, because we're clear.
But like in the business world, to grow, you really need a team. So like, even to bring this event, this moment we have in here now, we have the team where I want to give a shout out to my homeboy, Nee Harmon, who always put this together for us through Dynasty Solutions. And it takes a team.
It does. It takes a village.
I'm not tech savvy. It takes a village. There you go. It takes a village.
It takes a village because you have to first allow yourself to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And once we see you, can we build a trust where I can come in and share with you what I see? Because I'm only here to support you. And what I see might not feel good, but that's that truth.
That's that truth.
That's that truth. And if you feel anything from me, if I'm really walking in love the way that I say I am, if you see my light, and you've seen it not just every now and again, but like, man, I've seen it like consistently. As a matter of fact, it's really getting brighter. Then, we should be able to, because people have to be seen in order to be heard, to be able to allow themselves to feel, and then allow us to touch you. You know what I mean? So it's a whole unfolding, and we're learning, because those are behaviors that we also learn too. So we're kind of unlearning that. Let me put it like that.
I tell you what, this seeing that you're talking about now, like, too much of it might be controlled by entertainment.
How so? Expound on that.
Well, the youth.
Okay, let's talk about the youth.
We sometimes go back and say, well, these kids coming along these days, they ain't doing it like we used to do it. After hearing it so many times, I kind of came back to the senses that maybe I'm not teaching.
How am I showing up?
Am I showing up?
Question man.
Am I giving them something to gravitate to?
Those are those questions.
That we can't. Are we still blaming this on the rapper? We still blaming this on the action movie that had violence?
Absolutely.
Or we keep, why is it that's there? So it's like the part of the village of coming back to give that example, that expression of love that you're mentioning that's happening in the village, that expression of oneness, but we do things together. I heard you say that, hey, whatever you do, wherever you at, you have a talent that we can use. And that's an example of that village living.
And what I love about the village is I love the youth. My oldest son is 32. My youngest is going to be 20.
I think my oldest, I don't want to quite tell it. I don't want to quite tell my age, but
I'm 51.
Yeah,
I got 3 grandbabies.
Is he 31, 32?
Yeah.
I got 8.
Oh man, goals, but
yeah, I gotta.
I had 5, and I had them, so that's the difference. But what I love about the youth and my connection to the youth, it was so beautiful. I talked to my son the other day because I needed to really just kind of find a grounding with myself, and his name came, and I said, let me call him. He was here. He came to visit, and he said to me, we were just expressing, he was sharing, we were saying how much we loved each other. He said,
I think I might have met your son. Is he tall?
Beautiful, yes. With the babies, and my daughter.
With the babies?
Yes. Well, he doesn't have the babies, but my daughter was here. Yes.
Yeah, I met him.
Isn't he amazing?
Okay. I met him.
I did that. And that's how I feel.
He says he's considering.
That is how I feel about this brother. Like, oh, I know. At some point, yes.
Yeah, he said he considering.
Yes. I love my children so much, but my sons, I have 3 sons and 2 daughters. And it was interesting because he said, I said, I love you so much. You know. And he's like, Mom, I love you too. He said, me and Elisha were just talking about you the other night.
When I met him, he said he loved his mom, but at the time, I didn't know it was you.
Yes. And he said he and his brother were talking about me last night, and they were just saying how awesome I was. And I was just like, And what it is I've treated my children like children when they were children. And as they evolved and grew, I kept stepping back with them. I kept stepping back and allowing them. We never spanked our children, and we never.
You giving some other tips live right now.
Yeah, we didn't spank them because Will Smith said something, and I've had many, not debates, but I've had many back and forth conversations with people about. Will Smith said he never beats his children because it's slave. And when he said that,
I got some ass whoopings though.
A lot of people did.
I think looking back, they was deserved.
Maybe. Yeah. You know, there are many ways. There are many ways to do things. Right. And so I didn't get spanked. And so people always thought I was spoiled. But I had a good balance to myself. Yeah, I wanted what I wanted, but I didn't ask for much.
Right.
Boom. I was always well taken care of. I had to worry about where it was coming from, whatever. But at the same time, if I knew there was a need, I would concern myself. I wasn't like absent from it. It's just the way my life was designed. They made sure I never had to even think about it or worry about it. So, but back to the spanking thing. So with the youth, we were talking about the youth. I love the youth in the village because, you know, the youth are labeled, they're branded, they're angry. They're restless. They're like, listen, especially in the high schools and in the institution.
I'm wondering why.
Right.
That's another topic.
That is a whole nother topic.
I got an idea why.
But what it is like they have a genius. And
within.
I love to pull on their genius and then become a mirror. And then become like you, the question. You know, and let them speak on their genius, let it illuminate for them, let them hear it, let them recognize that it's good. Like, damn, I am good. I am something. I'm exceptional. You absolutely are. And the village where people look at troubled youth, our elder used to say, where people see troubled youth or people that's somebody who needs to find somebody in the village who can recognize the medicine that they're carrying, because those are our healers. And so we need to put them with the person who can sit with them and say, baby, listen, all that anger you dealing with,
bring it over
here. Let's talk about
it.
And then show them the magic. Show them the genius. So I love youth, and I've had great relationships with youth. We do gravitate towards one another, because that's that mother.
Right, that's that mother.
And then there's that teacher, and then there's that this, and there's that, and the beauty of African traditions is we become all things to everyone. Like you called me princess. My ancestors let me know that this is going to be good. This is going to be successful. You get to be a part of this, and you hold this brother and his people in prayer, and you keep them close, because, you know what I mean? Because that's what they refer to me as. My ancestors call me princess. You know, I'm a queen. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm a teenager. I'm an adult. I'm a this. Village allows you to be.
You didn't have to take a test in school to become those things?
I dropped out. I couldn't do it. No, I'm serious. I dropped out. I signed myself out. I was like, I'm clear.
I hated school as well.
Listen, brother, my mother
I do love to read.
No, exactly.
And learn as you embrace things, but, you know, I don't think college it really did.
They didn't have
that much for me, but
they didn't inspire me at
all. It's each its own with that.
It is, and that's the beauty of I had enough liberties and space to be able to recognize that and say, you know what, I'm so done. And I recognized that I was playing a game. And I even talked to my children, just play the game. Just play the game, because what you really going to need to know, you're going to learn from home, and you're going to learn when you get up and get out there. You're going to learn from how you conduct yourself, and your relationship with the energetic world is going to teach you everything you need to know.
Life is a process, and we all have to go through that process.
Absolutely.
We all need help with it.
Yeah.
Definitely all need help with it. So, you know, when it comes to life itself, with me, having my brief experience, life is like, it's so deep and yet can be so simple. But when I think of it being so deep, I just think it's the choices I made that got me off of. If I would just kept it simple. Kept it simple.
But how would you have known what simplicity looked like had you not?
Well, you ask your mom and your dad that you want to leave home, you want to explore it, and they give you your freedom. And as you said, you're going to learn from two places, home, and then you're going to learn what's out there. Yeah. And what's out there.
So here's my question to you.
It comes up. Go ahead.
What did you see about yourself reflected in your experience of leaving and going out there? What was your experience as you were being a reflection of who you were?
As the life out there been a reflection?
Yes. Like, what did you encounter? What were your experiences? Because it all coming through us, not to us. So.
You know, some of the things I figured out quickly was my mom and dad was right. I won't mention those certain things.
I think you should. Vulnerability village.
But
I mean,
I thought that my mom and dad was right on a whole lot of things. They may not have appropriated the right way to make me listen.
That's what made you go out. Yeah, you had to
they may have, the few spankings may me involved. Said, man, let me migrate on up out of here. But with that said, I think the biggest thing is that we're learning you have to deal with your own issues. You have to learn how to fix this yourself. Yeah. That when you have that freedom, they say, you got to calculate it. Everything is kind of calculated.
I read a book where this brother said we have the Statue of Liberty. He said, but there should be on the other side of the world a Statue of Responsibility.
Ooh.
Right?
Oh,
I mean, I was young when I read that, and I'm 51, and that I was like, man.
Statue of
Liberty,
responsibility,
and a statue of responsibility.
Versus
with liberty, but with liberty comes responsibility. It doesn't mean that you can just go out there and do whatever
you just can't
you
go
want.
Out there and do what you want.
You have to be able to have the ability to respond at what you're creating within your liberty.
You need to do something with that. Statue of Liberty comes with.
It should be a statue of responsibility.
Statue of responsibility.
Yeah, maybe we'll build with this. I was
that responsibility comes to everybody.
It does. And just because you're free within yourself doesn't mean that you have the freedoms to do whatever you want to do. I mean, you got to have a level of integrity. You got to have, why are we doing what we're doing? What is driving that? And where is that coming from? And that's taking a level of responsibility and accountability for yourself. I really just feel like if everybody would spend the time to invest in their own overall health, wellness, and well-being, self-love, which is the only place love can come from, has to take place. We have to take self-love and self-care and whatever that looks like. You know what I mean? And if
love have to start with yourself.
Well, because we are created in the image and likeness of the Most High. We want to look up at the sky and, you know what I mean? And so life is just a reflection. The Most High is really a big reflection of all that is. So whatever is coming into your scope, is the reflection that you're seeing, is something that you're seeing. It doesn't necessarily have to be negative or positive. It could just be, what do we do with it? And that is our part in creation. We are co-creators with Creator. And so that's what we're doing.
We are co-creators with the Creator.
Yeah, and we can't ever forget that we are under an authority authorized. It was the minute that people of different diversities and ethnicities sought to separate themselves from the authority is when all these opposing forces and energies came in. That now we're like, oh gosh, people want to call it warfare, but we just got to, and it is on some level, but it's bringing the equilibrium back. But that's within us. I was raised Pentecostal, in the church. And I loved it. Oh, I wouldn't trade that in for anything. Pentecostal is like...
there's nothing like a opening couple of songs.
And shouting.
And a little shouting and dancing. Ain't
but the
condemnation
like and the shame and the beating down and the master slash of the whip, because he did give us that, right? The way he wanted us to have it. So, sometimes I find, and I'm sensitive to pastors are still whipping their congregations. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the most powerful instruments on our body is the tongue.
Yeah,
that's something I'm trying to work on to make better. as far as realizing that there's power within it. And
More than we realize.
a lot of, I ain't gonna get into the church thing. I ain't gonna get into the church
That's
thing.
another, we're going to save it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna get into that. But, however, there are some good and some bad in everything.
But, like we said earlier, to our point is we're all still ever learning.
Ever.
Who is taking the time to commit to their evolution? You know what I mean? Like, did we all just walk away with our judgments? Or did we decide?
When you say our walking away from our evolution.
No, walk into their, be a part of their evolution.
Their evolution.
Or do we just walk away from the church with our judgments as we're evolving and we're coming into this, you know what I mean? We walk away and we get so judgmental. It was so funny. They called me back to the church. The ancestors is like, oh, you don't go to church. When I went, the first thing I had to do to really settle in was peel back my own judgments. Because everything he was saying, I was like, nope, see,
Yeah,
that's why.
yeah.
I didn't see, that's why. And then it was like, oh, okay, you done with that?
Yes.
Because while you're doing that, why don't you look at that within yourself so now you can be of a purpose here so that the love within you can be the thing that they gravitate towards you. Then like a Christ, you can begin to have a voice and you can begin to speak and their light. So, it's a whole new thing happening and we just have to trust it.
Well, self-love is needed now. You can feel
Definitely.
You can feel it in the atmosphere with everything going around that. Mm-hmm. If it was love there, we wouldn't have a lot of this stuff we see going on right now. That has nothing to do with love or what we see.
What is love?
War is everywhere.
What is love for you?
What is love for me? We're going to save it for another moment.
Are we?
We're going to save that one for another moment.
Okay.
What is love? Whew. To describe it.
Okay, yes.
The best that I can. What is love to me? It's sacrifice. Number one.
Okay.
Sometimes love could be uncomfortable.
Okay.
But yes, it could be, if you can get through that sacrifice and uncomfortableness, I think can be the most blissful institution that's there. That's love to me.
We're going to eradicate institution. I love you.
I love you too, sis.
Only because the institutions of prison, marriage is an institution, and the education system is an institution. And they try to do that to love. They've actually really tried to do that to love. You know what I mean? Institutionalize it. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes a word that is equated to the experience you've had around it. Like if I said I loved you and our relationship went left, then there's where my experience of love.
Well, first of all, majority of people be like, it don't exist.
I've never heard that.
Majority of people really believe that. Really? Especially if you talk about the institution of, let's just say the marriage.
Marriage. Let's go there.
Let's just say the marriages.
It's my birthday right now.
Yeah. Just say the marriage. It's like over 50 to 60% of them don't make it. And then there's another that just say, I'm comfortable where I'm at. I don't want to get involved with that. And that's cool. You have to respect it. But, like I say, for me, love, it's a little sacrifice. It's a give and take. It's a give and take situation when it comes to a relationship with people.
It's a giving and receiving. It's a reciprocity.
Right. So if you're talking about love with people, that's a give and take.
Which is interesting because even doing that to it is, once again, love is it just is. And so it whether there's people or not, it's ever present. It is the energy of the Most High. To me, it is the creative life force. It is the air we breathe. It is the fires that burn. It is the water that's cooling and flows. It's that rock that's solid. It's that nature that's everywhere and just like, it's earth that is foundation. Do you know what I mean? That we can trust in that and yield seed and produces.
Oh, when you say the Most High is love, when you say that love got off pace because somebody want to start it with something with differences that got us off that love that the Most High created it. Everything created.
Well, that was the divine harmony of recognizing that our source was sourcing us to even have life, to be able to create. Love to me is creative. It's creativity. It's what do we do when we get together? You know what I'm saying? I mean, even if we argue, it's like, okay,
Right.
so we in conflict right now, but my love says we're going to get through this and we're going to come out stronger.
Love is what do we do when we get
Now
together?
that we found love, what
Are we gonna do?
Hey. And it's just a word, but the energy to me is it brings forth life.
Brings forth life.
And it you know, all these words are just energies, you know what I mean? But to me, it is patient. It says, you know what? Yeah, you may be seeing your flaws, but I don't. So until you're done seeing your flaws, I'm going to be right here.
I'm gonna be right here.
I'm going to be right here.
I'm gonna wait on you.
I'm going to wait on you.
I'm
I'm going to literally wait on you. You thirsty, you hungry, what you need? So, all of that.
Well, that's love right there.
Love the life you live and live the
We
life
just
you
celebrated
love.
another
Midnight.
moment together on Common Hood.
Oh, I love you so much. You know that,
And
right?
you gotta come back. You gotta come back as
I would love
often
that.
as frequently.
I would
as you
love
want
that.
to.
We got love up in here right
That's a
now.
lot of emphasis we're gonna pull out.
Ashe.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for sharing this moment in time with the Common Hood crew. We want you to hit that subscribe button
Absolutely.
and put us in your hood and spread the love, as you would say, with Common Hood.
Spread love. Da,
Thank you so
da,
much.
da. Take
Until we come together
six.
again,
Ashe. Thank you, brother.
peace.
Yes, and unity.